I'm gonna have to play mouse and keyboard today. I'm actually gonna have to play with mouse and keyboard today because my Logitech Profiler isn't working for some reason. That's really annoying. I'll have to get that working after the stream. That's why there was the delay, by the way. I was trying to get Logitech gaming software working, and it just didn't want to work. So today's where the rules are going to bite me, because we've got this on the plow, and because this is on course play, we're going to have to start that off first. And now we need to get up to Little Woolhope, effectively. Luckily, because we're on foot, we can kind of ignore hedges and stuff. We can... Yeah. Clicky keys, here we come. Yeah, don't you love it when my wheel decides to just go wrong? I tried opening the software 3 or 4 times and it just didn't work. So... We'll have to make do with things as they are. Hello, Jake, Archie, Iannis, BulletBill, of course. Who else is here? Liam Maher. Install keyboard steer, it makes it much better. No. I use a wheel 90% of the time. Did I see what I put? What you put at the beginning of chat? Possibly, maybe not, though. This is really, really annoying. Before the stream even started, it's all gone wrong. Right. Am I even going to the right place? I mean, there's little... Oh no! I'm heading in slightly the wrong direction. I need to be heading more in this kind of direction. Yeah. Because I'm heading towards the actual village, not the farm. Nice name for the stream. You're talking about All-Star. Ah. And here I am in the stream with the comedy all about the privacy policy. Because who hasn't gotten 50,000 billion trillion emails about damn privacy policies in the last 3 weeks? Soon, TM River, soon. So the reason I'm having to walk half the map, and I just want to double check, yes, we are on the correct walking speed. The reason I'm having to walk half the map is because I left the 240 up over here. I'm not going to walk through people's gardens. That's maybe taking a bit too many liberties. Just looked at the thumbnail. I did change the way I did the title slightly for the thumbnail. Should have said pick up and start up. Is that against? It's not really against the rules, but oh, this isn't even the 240. It's the 844. It's not really against the rules, but it's not something I wanted to do. I just wasn't expecting to have to go across half the damn map on day 2. You can walk through. In reality, you can kind of walk through the hedges. Look how close we got to the pigs the other day. Like, there's the pigs. We were just over there. So I'm using Glance, by the way, to see what is going on with everything on the map. Because if all else fails and I've got 2 workers out and one of them has trouble, I can at the very least see that it's having trouble and drive the 3rd vehicle that I'll probably be in over to that hired worker. to go before we got halfway to the tractor. I mean, yeah, but you can still walk through edges in real life. My point stands. I'm really annoyed that the wheel's not working. Well, I don't want to say not working. The profiler's not working, which would have meant that the wheel would have 100% centering spring at all times, which doesn't sound like it'll be a pain, but it is quite a strong centering spring. So it would have been quite annoying to turn, and just inconvenient. Hello, Julian. By the way, I am currently charging my e-stick, hence the cable dangling off it. I'm having trouble with chargers at the moment. I've had to swap out my phone charger. So off to the sheep, and then that is all the animals sorted, actually. New European... Yeah, I know that. Did I fix the e-stick? I didn't need to. It seems I burnt off the burnt bits or something of the coil. It's fine now. This project is going to turn my hair grey, but great to watch as a subscriber. You say that now. I mean, the Massey's been ploughing for the better part of for just over 2 hours now, and it's barely finished the first field. What is BulletBill's new map? It's Lone Oak Farm. Check out the whip topic on FSUK. It is an American map based on a real area in, I think it's Oregon. I'm probably wrong. And it is... I say this carefully. Quite possibly the best American map that has ever been made for farm sim. In terms of detailing and terrain and field shapes and sizes, it's got fantastic variety and all of that. Oops. Okay, you go in the you both go. I can sort myself out here. And I will say that the map is big bud friendly. So if you want to use a big bud, you can. If you want to, as somebody who's going to remain unnamed did, if you want to fill the big shed that has just been put into the map with, was it 34 Massey Ferguson? I think it was 34 Massey Fergusons can fit into the new shed. The Massey's from the DLC. Just as an idea of the size of it. Gonna use Massey's as a measuring stick now. One of the new shaders, Reshade. I'm using basically Sims version as well as Seasons lighting, which Reshade works fantastically with Seasons lighting. Yes, the Massey 390T. It has to be the 390T. It is an official size measurement in Farm Sim. The shed that has just been put into Lone Oak, the new shed as I'll call it, is 34 390s in size. So if you just... 34 was just in the work... Okay, the workshop is 34 390s in size. The rest of that shed is 4 times larger. So 200-ish. 150-ish 390s in size. A true professional. He used to be, then I started talking to him. I've ruined him, I'm afraid. So that's the pigs watered. This can all go back to the main yard. The reason I'm leaving the sheep even, the reason I'm leaving the Profi up at the sheep, seemingly against the rules, is it's fine. Put the wrong tag for the challenge on the screen. Yes, I did. Let's just swap it around. Hang on. Let's get rid of that. Bring this in. There we go. Hello, Ruggles. Next week. Very nice. I know Landy's chomping at the bit to go on low note. How about buy bales? That I would consider cheating, Liam. Because with buy bales, you can move the bales around between the different yards. With the feed bags, it's kind of, you can only use that food for that animal. Plus, if you think about it, for the pigs, the feed bags are going to be more worthwhile than straw bales. It's the best form of measurement. It is both metric and imperial at the same time. It's a universal measurement standard. Feed bags for pigs, best for cows and sheep. I don't like that as an idea. Like, I could have used buy bales, yeah, but I feel like the bags give more of a challenge because, as I've discovered, the bags are actually a lot more restricted than I thought, and the animals need more food than I actually expected. Hello, Slants. I thought the bags would have a lot, like, the animals wouldn't need as much food as they do, especially the cows. And yeah, that's gonna cause some problems. It's really annoying having to use my keyboard because I know it's got an annoying noise for some of you guys. 5 bales for sheep. I didn't give any bales to the sheep, but yeah, you could give the sheep bales. Just to get around the lack of big bags for the sheep. Now, I haven't done that. I'm going to use a Profi Hopper as soon as I possibly can, which will probably be mid-spring. I'll do a quick buzz around and get some grass for the sheep. Did I have just remembered? Did I have a corn harvester or a corn header on this map? Yes, I did. Okay, I must have bought it last week or last stream then. Because that's something I always forget. I always forget a corn header because I never do corn. Nothing wrong with my keyboard. I like me blue switches. Makes me feel like a proper PC gamer with the ultra clicks. Plus, at least you can hear when I'm putting inputs in. And more to the point, so can I. Right. Next job is going to be... Where did I put the 240? The 240 should be in this yard somewhere. Where did I put the 240? Did I put it over here somewhere? No, it will still be in the shed. You get more grass. Well, yeah, but where is the 240? Hang on. 240 is where? Over here. Oh, there it is. It's so small that I missed it. They're nice to use, but kind of ridiculous a little bit. I didn't understand them either until I got one. And now that I have one, I can tell you why people like them so much. And the reason people like mechanicals so much is because they're very tactile. You can kind of feel when you're putting inputs in. Really struggling to find a low horsepower corn planter. Google like small seeder, and there's plenty of them on like dodgy mod sites. This one here if I bring it up on screen for you guys in the shop, is the Monosim NG4. Takes 40 horsepower to power it. That's a good low power horse. Yes, it's a good low power horse. Low horsepower corn seeder. Maybe not the best. You know, maybe you could get better, but it's gonna be good enough for our needs. Oh wait, no, the fertilizer is in bags. So, one of the advantages of using Jolly Dodger's big bags is, number one, they look legit. And number two, you can get them in a double wide configuration, which is 2,000 litres. Now, if somebody wants to supercharge the challenge, they can get the 1,000 litre bags. I've gone for 2,000 litres because I think I should, in theory, have enough seeds to do everything. Ooh, oh, that's a bit bouncy. By a bit bouncy, I mean very. Lord, I was not happy at all. Need something wrong. That one, the Monosim NG4. It requires only 40. It'll run your Zetter pretty easily. Hello, Yuso. I enjoy the fact that the load all decided to start dancing for us. Surprising, yeah. I've never worked out how much fert I'm gonna need here. Where am I gonna put down the fert? I'm thinking not this field yet. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to do so much cleanup. But the Massey is now working on the headlands at least, so it's got the majority of the field done. I think we'll fertilize field 15. Bear in mind, this is the smallest fertilizer spreader I could find. 500 litre capacity. I think it's got a 12 meter working width. Yeah, 12 meter working width. The Massey 11 also has a 500 litre capacity, but the working width is much larger. The tablet mod, there's the horse shaft, tells you how much further seed. I don't think I want to know how much further seed I'd need, to be honest. I know you can work out seed using courseplay as well, which I might actually do to check how I'm doing for seeds, because I should have 20,000 litres of seeds. So I might later on tonight just hop in here and get some calculations done to see if I've got enough seeds, and if not, how many more will I need. 20,000 litres should be more than enough though. Will the little seeder from the Modern Classics pack work for this? It would, yeah, but I think that thing needs 100 horsepower or something like that. Although I might get that app, the tablet mod, because like if I'm saying the mini-map is on a phone in these tractors, then yeah, I could use the tablet mod as well, and the horse app to figure out how well stocked I actually am. I don't feel like that'd be cheating too much. Just that little 135, I am so impressed by it. It just keeps going. It just doesn't quit, and I'm amazed. Does Bill work that sort of stuff out when making maps? No. Nobody ever works that out. You need about 40 grand to pay for it. See, that's my worry, is I don't know if I'm even going to be able to fully fertilize these fields. Because, granted, I will only be doing one solid application, and then to liquid, and I know liquid actually goes a little bit farther, so maybe we'll do better. But that is a concern for sure. Fieldwork, yeah. That's the new thing for map testing, is how many Massey Ferguson 390s will fit into various buildings. Just choosing and test driving equipment. You test drove stuff? I didn't. You've put more testing into this than I did, Liam, and I'm the one that actually came up with this challenge. I worked it all out based on, this is tiny and low horsepower, this'll work. It's not a bit that I missed over there, is there? No. The fields are really big. Yeah, this is... I guess part of the fun is the fields are huge compared to the equipment. Best just using solid, it goes further. I find the opposite is true, that liquid fert goes further. From experience, I always find that I end up using less liquid fertilizer. Mainly because I'm a lot better at judging spread because of the spray bar. Think Cobra will work well with this? I think most maps would work well with it. I've seen people kind of saying, oh, this map would work well, or I'm going to do it on this map, or whatever, and yeah, there's no map limitation on it. I know of one person who's planning, at least, for Dusty Cove. According to the shop, sulfur is cheaper than liquid per application. Ah! Maybe solid is the way forward then on this challenge. But that's assuming there's no overlap. Which, with me, there's always overlap on solid. Because I'm terrible at gauging how far I need the solid to go. I actually want to test something real quick at the end of this line, because I'm not entirely sure which of the many versions of West Coast this actually is. The many editions. Okay, that's gonna make things fun. So this is the released version, not the edited version that I had. Okay. That's, yeah, gonna make things a bit more interesting with course play. I don't know if those islands are big enough for course play to actually pick up on. Ugh. You do Lone Oak. First of all, it's not allowed. Lone Oak will have everything that's in the game. Lone Oak will have every basic feature, which I think all maps should, you know, to be honest. I'll very heavily criticize a map for missing out on cows, pigs, sheep, BGA, even a forestry area and sawmill. I will criticize for that, because the way I see it, you know, the game has base functions. If your map doesn't meet those base functions, it's not functional at a base level. Or it's not fully functional, it's not finished. How realistic are BGAs? With, and this is why I've included this in the rules. With, okay, sugarcane I will allow people to miss out, because that is the most pointless damn thing ever. With BJs, the BJ extension actually has them working a lot more realistically, where you can feed them at any given time, but they only run really at specific times. Like with BJ extension, the BGA itself runs twice per day. and it's at what, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. You can fill it at any time in between. And obviously with the BJ running at 8 p.m., that's kind of immune from the fieldwork rule. It's not in a field. Can't imagine side pits of BJs where farmers are clamping. There's videos online, Liam. There's videos on YouTube of BJ pits being clamped, and they basically use the same equipment farmers do, by and large. It's wheel loaders doing it for the most part. Sometimes you'll see like fence and stuff on them. But yeah, it's basically like more or less what you would use in game. Because I know most people use because I do wheel loaders because it's easier and they're bigger and heavier. Where did I finish fertilizing there? Hello, Nat. Suitable. I'd rather not, thanks. If Lone Oak is out in the next 4 to 5 weeks, you'll switch over to Lone Oak right now. You think you'll start in Cobra? I think the plan, dependent on Giants testing, which is going to go a bit haywire with E3 and FarmCon and Gamescom coming up, and then, you know, the FS19 release. So I'd expect testing to kind of fall off from Giants. Just because it is the Giants QA team are doing the testing, and they've kind of got a bigger job than testing some mods. Hey, GD. So especially with FarmCon coming up and Giants having promised a playable version there, QA are probably working pretty hard on FS19 right now. That said, we're getting into the cycle of the game where mods just kind of naturally slow down anyway. We're getting into the lull period towards the end where people are finishing up their last mods and then kind of taking a bit of time to rest up for the next game, and because there's not, like, if you start a mod now, you will not get it done by October. You just won't. So it's the lull now where nobody's really starting new mods and people are finishing up old mods, and everything's kind of slowly coming to an end for FS17. Unfortunately for me and Landy and Simulate and everybody who makes YouTube videos, it means the views are also coming to an end for FS17. And yeah, with E3 coming up and the FS19 news coming up, which I will be talking about on the channel, and I'll have all the promo videos and stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's the funny thing, is like the mods released now will give you an idea of what mods will be like in FS19. Because the quality, people are finally got to grips with how to mod for the game. I don't want to say most modders are focusing on FS19 now, but the guys that have finished up their final mods for 15, yeah, for sure they are now kind of laser focusing on 19 and waiting for FarmCon to get the modding forum there, the information from that through, which hopefully there's a lot of information, hopefully there's a sample mod, and if Giants are changing up how maps work, a sample map would be nice. So we're gonna split field 10 here. I said this in the last stream, but I'm gonna repeat it now for the 42 odd people that are watching. Or although according to my stream deck it's 45. What we're gonna do with field 10 is we're gonna split it clean along the pathway here, and this part of the field here that I'm fertilizing now is gonna be our potato field, because we don't need a giant amount of potatoes. This is going to be more than enough, and in fact we can probably sell some. and the other half of the field is going to just be a generic crop field. Because we can do that. After the big events, Giants will most likely... Yeah, I mean, once E3 starts and we get the big announcement, whatever time that comes, it will be a drip feed of information. There'll be a big dump at FarmCon. They really should have announced FS19 at E3. Like, everybody knew it was coming anyway, but the official announcement I think was a bit too early. Just my opinion. Because it hurt everybody, including Giants, to announce it that early. You have more than one cow farm on a map, or is that not possible? From what I understand reasonably little. It's not possible to have more than one cow farm, but it's possible to have more than one cow field. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, you can have 2 nav meshes for cows, but they have to be linked. There's a trick some maps use with an underground nav mesh going under like a road or something. So the cows can like magically appear in 2 fields. Hello, Tree Frog. So how's the 135 doing? We can check up on this. Going along the outside now. Very nice. Nearly done with the potato portion of field 10. Stuart Dubois works in BJ up north. Good for him. If you tune out, the one group of cows will die from starvation. Only if you're using seasons. I mean, without seasons, you could, in theory, have like 2 sets of cows, but it'd be kind of dumb. Hello, Luke. How are you doing today? But if you have like one nav mesh that we'll say goes off on a line between 2 fields on a little pathway, then you're actually kind of fine there. Cows don't move in meadows. That means that they're all stationary, and there is no nav mesh. I'm doing good, Luke. Thank you very much for asking. How close is the 135 to done? You also will never ever get full production, but you'll get like 2 fields that look like they've got cows in. Oh, the 135 is still a mile from being done. Bear in mind, we started that field off at the very start of the last stream. So that 135 has now been ploughing for 2.5 hours, give or take. And it's still not done with the 1 field. But I've learned from that the auto width on Courseplay is set a bit too big, which is fine. I can just reduce it down by, I'm going to say 0.2 of a meter. What size is the fuel tank on the 135? I think it's about 40-ish litres. But the fuel usage is very low because it's such a small tractor. Like if you look at the 240, it's got roughly the same size of a fuel tank, and with 2 hours on the clock, just on the 240, it's used about 1/5 of the fuel tank. So you can run them for about 10 hours before they start running dry. And 10 hours is roughly like how long a tractor runs in Farm Sim, or should run before running dry. It's usually like 8 to 10 hours before you really need to refuel. 8 to be safe, 10 is kind of, that's when it runs out. So, yeah, it's kind of funny just kind of looking at maps for FS17 comparing to 13 and 15, that like FS17 maps tend to have less scripts, but are insanely well detailed and optimized. But FS13 and 15 maps, some but not all, were just chock full of scripts. Like the mappers clearly went to Maru's website once, said, "I like all of these things," and just threw everything onto a map, which is how the production maps were born. And those maps now are kind of, I always kind of frowned upon them myself. The ridiculous ones like Pleasant Valley. They're always kind of frowned upon, but there's still a lot of people who play them. But now it's kind of turning into a case of, well, it runs like ass. Why should I play this map when there's 12 other maps that maybe don't have as many scripts but run twice as well, or 3 times as well, or 4 times as well, or... Yeah, scripted maps, you can get like a good balance of scripting. Like, I'm not saying if you're making a map don't ever put a script in. You can get a good balance. But don't go overboard, because it will start killing frames off. And like, for reference to the 45 FPS to 30, BulletBill makes sure his maps can run at 60 FPS. So Lone Oak on his PC at, I think, pretty much max graphics runs 60 FPS, but not in 4K. Hello Dal, how are you doing today? Just as a reference. And his PC isn't very good. Once you bring in loads of bales, lag becomes pain. Yes! That's why actually the bale rule was originally 200 bales before you can start selling, but I realized that would, on my PC, not cause too many problems with 600 bales on the map. But for a lot of people with not so good PCs, it would start causing a lot of lag and a lot of stuttering to have 600 bales lying around somewhere. 150 is significantly less. You know, it's still a lot of bales, don't get me wrong, 50 of each type, but you can still do it. $17.09 build from April, far enough back, because we're going back to Windows. I have never had a problem with Windows updates, other than it like changing some settings on me, or changing what sound card Windows wants to detect, or dropping off my sound card occasionally, and changing my microphone, switching it on and off at random. I've never had like a major huge problem with Windows. In fact, I'm running the current version of Windows. I'm running the current update, which is a pain because it takes so long, and it's got all the privacy options. And in fact, I'd honestly say the newest version of Windows is the best because it has the privacy options. Courtesy of GDPR. Your sound snaps, crackles, and pops since 1709 to 1803. That kind of hints at a sound card issue more than anything else, Joe. Just double check everything's like seated in your PC properly. If you're using speakers, make sure the jack's seated properly, and same with the headphones, I guess. Because I've not had any snapping or popping. Since I got my new headphones. My old ones were kind of dying. And yeah, they snapped and crackled and popped a lot. Everything over... No! 30 to 40 FPS is playable. Onboard sound. Maybe the device you're using for sound, like your speakers or your headphones, are actually failing. Because they do have a lifespan, because they're fully electronic. My old pair were failing. I overdrove them for far too long, and this pair I'm actually not driving anywhere near as hard. You play Farm Sim on a regular laptop? Yes, but not well. You've narrowed it down to the computer itself. It could be a short somewhere, Joe. Like, don't immediately rule it down to Windows. It could be a short. Because snapping and crackling indicates, to me at least, electronic noise. Cooling fans seem to have gone well. Yeah, it seems to have affected cooling fans, because even mine is kind of a bit wonky at times. I'm really glad, by the way, that it's nowhere near as hot as yesterday. Yeah, on Oakfield, get bales into barns as soon as you can. That FPS script from Ian, which I actually may retrofit into the West Coast if it's not already in. I may retrofit it into the barns here just for FPS optimization on my version of the map. Because it is a massive help. Sometimes it does cause a bit of weird stutteriness, but by and large it's more of a help than a hindrance. PC runs the same, no changes. I mean, mine mostly runs the same. There's a few small details that kind of are slightly different. Like, for some reason, whenever I open Photoshop, it kind of judders a bit more. But I've actually ruled that as being down to a different program. Retrofitted mod for Cobra and the West Coast. I don't think I am running the clip distance mod. I'll double check. No, I'm not, because I would have had to activate it. No, I'll download the clip distance mod though, seeing as you've already retrofitted. That'll save me about an hour. Hello, Witchy. So that's the two, well, three, technically, spare fields done. I'm really wishing now that I actually got a second plow, because we're basically having to wait for the 135 to finish working. (1803) problems are common, but it's just bad luck for the chip combinations. That's not all that surprising, I'll be honest. So let's get the 240 on the cultivator. This plow and cultivator combo was made for the 135 and 240, by the way. Needs 80 horse to run. Blackout, dude, use these. Use Peter J's cultivators, the Ransomes. They're pretty solid. Would it make sense to put a bigger tractor on the plow? Not really. The 135 runs it perfectly. It's still quite a distance from being done. Let's... Oh yeah, just... so that even if I hit tab it won't work. Because I've been very well behaved today, I've not actually cheated. I'm just gonna lift up. There we go. I'm gonna finish this field manually because I need to do something. Now bear in mind, this is an old tractor, it's an old classic. That means that stop. That means I can't use GPS. It means I gotta do this all by eye and do it all manually, but because I'm using train response, I can use the furrows. Bear in mind, this thing is a 135, you know, it's not the biggest tractor in the world. It's running a 10 kph 11 with a plow on the back, so it's not exactly... It's not exactly struggling. This isn't going to be the neatest plow job in the world, but it'll do. You're running 3 tractors, 66, 80, and a 117. Good lord. My biggest tractor has 80 horsepower. But that said, you do need a reasonable amount of horsepower to run a baler. And the baler I've chosen, the Massey 125F, which requires 70. I mean, I'm still kind of pushing it with an 80 horsepower tractor running that. I'll only, if I was using LR, have 10 horsepower to run the wheels. But that's not how FarmSim calculates it. It calculates PDO horsepower slightly. I think it's separately from wheel horsepower, so it kind of wonks up, or there's some weird calculation it does to figure out how much horsepower is going to the wheels, because it's not what you think. But you know, 100 horsepower tractor ish. I wouldn't count that as cheating, to be honest, because you need to run a baler, like with the rule about if you make straw you bale it. You know, you have to run a baler in this in this challenge. Anyone have any recommendations for sound cards? I have no idea. I use integrated sound from my motherboard, so no idea. Hello, Kieran. How's the farm? It's going good. It's going good. It's going good. Kind of miss when this plow, because I remember in FS13 had the script where it skimmed the ground a bit and then dig in. So what we're going to do before we do anything else is just clean up the bits of the field that for some reason Courseplay derped, and it's looking like actually I can get away with just a 0.1 reduction. So if I reduce that to 1.5, no, 1.4 would be better, just to ensure there's no little glitches like that, because these are a bit too frequent for my liking, and in fact they're so small that, yeah, they're so small they're not really going to affect things. I'll just delete the course, and we can fix that in the future. So what I'm going to do, and I really should have actually kept the fertilizer spreader on the 240, is I want to actually fertilize immediately after plowing here, because all the other fields have been fertilized once. This one has not yet been fertilized, so I need to get some fertilizer on this field so that I only need 2 applications once the crop is in, as opposed to the full 3 applications I need otherwise. How's this corner looking? A bit derpy, but it'll do. As long as you don't see it on the map, it's fine for you. See, it's visible on the map because it's in just the right places, this little derp. But I'm going to leave it like that. I'll have to re-plow anyway after harvest, so I'm not too caught up. I'm not too caught up about having to basically replow this at some point. It'll have to be after harvest. I want to get seeds in the ground, and you know, I still have a lot to do. What about manure placeable so you can buy manure? No, that's an infinite spawn point, Liam. That is no infinite spawn points. Manure placeable is cheating. So I'm using the big bag for seed and fertilizer, even though there's infinite spawn points for seed and fertilizer in the yard. Costs every time you use it, it's still infinite. Where's the challenge if you've got infinite manure, where you can just buy manure whenever you want? Oh, you have to make the manure. You have to get the cows and pigs to output the manure. Hey, Cornish. Was it you emailed me? I can't quite remember. If it was, I replied to that email, and I couldn't remember which corn seed I was using. It's actually the Monos MNG4, which if I bring it up for you here, it's this little blue one. Only requires 40 horsepower, so it will work on basically anything. You're gonna use Valley of the Old Farm. It's a map I never got on with. It's a map that ruined itself, basically. Wasn't tested enough before release and suffered as a result. Unfortunately, too many people think that testing is an optional part of map making. Hello, Ryan. Or testing is super easy and super quick. No, 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 no. Gotta look at every little bit of the map in detail, including the 1mm gaps between power lines. How can you get your flat texture to go in the direction you drive? It's called multi-terrain angle, only available on PC. It's a nice little script that basically kind of forces. Well, how do I describe multi-terrain angle? The way the farm sim calculates terrain angles in game is like there's 8 directions: north, south, east, west, northeast. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there only 4 directions? There's got to be more than 4 directions. Up, down, left, right, up, like top left to bottom right, and top right to bottom left. But there might be. No, there's only 4 directions really that the ground can go in farm sim. And what multi-terrain angle does is it is basically just a tweak that allows more directions that the ground can go in. Which, if done right, with the right texture pack, does look like it's following the wheel lines of the tractor. But if you look closely, and I'm gonna just find an area here. If you look closely, you can see the little seams in between. If I zoom in here, you can just see little seams. Is it a mod? It has to be put into the map. It has to be hard-coded into the map. I haven't had a chance to play it. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure it's like everything you wanted to hear. Having a look at your mod list though, you could use the case corn picker in theory, but that would be a terrible idea. I've used that once or twice and hated every minute of it because it's so small. At the end of the day, this challenge is kind of based around. It's kind of based on you enjoying using small equipment. If you don't like using small equipment, this challenge is not for you. It's not something I'd ever recommend. If you do like using small equipment, like I do, then absolutely give this a shot. It's tough, it's difficult, it's slow going, but it gives you a chance to use the smallest of the small. Does disabling crop moisture disable straw from getting wet? Yes, I think. I mean, well, okay, how Seasons works with crop moisture is crop moisture, which I think should be enabled. I need to double check that real quick. Crop moisture is on, yes. I've got all the difficulty on Seasons, by the way. Crop moisture, what it does is it checks if it's rained recently. If it's rained recently, it will put an effect on your crops that reduces the yield. It doesn't necessarily make the straw wet, but it reduces the yield. Now, if you're on a map that isn't seasons ready, or fully seasons ready, fully, 100% seasons integrated, it won't have snow masks. If it doesn't have snow masks, which I know Rakin prefers them being called something else, but I'm calling them a snow mask, damn it. If it doesn't have a snow mask, the basically the straw, I'm gonna call it straw mod, because that's what it was in FS15. The bale destruction physics and stuff like that don't take effect. Because there's no way for you to, without a snow mask, keep the crop under a snow mask covered area. In theory as well, by the way, with the snow mask, you can actually store bales in, like, on some maps, in the pig area, which is completely outside, and they'll be fine, because as long as it's snow masked, it's counted as being indoors. I spoke to Rakin about this in some detail a while back about why the Seasons mask, as he prefers being called, is the way that it is, and because I'd figure out why it was, and you know, I gave the alternative of, oh yeah, you could use a raycast to check if it's indoors, you know, shine a light up and if it hits something. This is how a raycast works, by the way. You shine a light upwards from the ground at all points, and if it detects a collision, because almost all roofs have collisions in Farm Sim, then that is counted as indoors. The problem there is that it's incredibly badly optimized to do that. Isn't it made by Oxy and Bill Snowmask? With the exception of Sandy Bay and Shellington. And I think maybe Thornton. Although Thornton, I think, actually is Snowmask, but doesn't have Seasons textures. Can't store bales in placeable sheds in Seasons. Well then don't store bales in placeable sheds. Use them for equipment. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Well, I'm still not going to store bales in placeable sheds just because I probably won't have too many placeable sheds on the map. I don't see the point of them. I feel like maps are made with storage for what the map maker considers enough equipment and bales and stuff. So I feel like it'd be disingenuous to use something like a placeable shed. Must know inside the bales. Oh yes, of course, because okay, I can tell you how that works. Because the bales have tip because those sheds have tip calls. Seasons will detect the tip calls and actually fill in an area inside of that to be like indoors. I think that's how they made that happen. That's it. I'm gonna stick with the I'm not gonna use placeable sheds thing. There's more than enough sheds around here, and by the way, the main yard I should mention, the main yard I'm considering also includes the potato storage over by Field 4, which is, ironically enough, where I'm going to be storing the potatoes once they're grown up and harvested. I would count that as a satellite yard to the main yard, so that to me is fine. Because it's, you know, in the same field areas. The other two yards on the map are in completely different field areas. Well, they have several yards. Are in completely different field areas and have different fields near them and field requirements, so that's my logic there at least. So we've still got another probably 3 headlands to do in this little Massey. Let's just throw on cruise control here and get it motoring. See, the problem is right now is all I can do is plow and cultivate, because I've got no field completely plowed. You don't think you could cope? See, I enjoy this, Maddie. I genuinely enjoy this. I've done series before where I had equipment just, you know, this small or smaller, and I was perfectly fine using it. How wide is this plow? 3 furrows, or about 1 point, what did I set it as? 1.4, 1.5 meters. Courseplay recognizes 1.6, but that's not quite wide enough. So, you know, it's small. You like medium size? Although I'd like small to medium size equipment. But for the challenge, I figured, yeah, let's go small. Let's crank it up to 10 or 11 in terms of vehicle difficulty. If you're enjoying the stream, by the way, hit the like button. We're aiming at 50 likes today, and if you are very much so enjoying, you haven't done so already, and you want to see more from me, hit the subscribe button. We're 29 subscribers away from hitting 8,000. Not that far at all. Although sub numbers have kind of dipped off lately. Probably, I'm guessing, because of exams and good weather. And maybe even people going on holidays. I've noticed viewer numbers have kind of dipped off as well, and I'm guessing it's the same reasoning there. Because that's the kind of stuff that I care about, is how are the numbers looking, because numbers equal people who are interested. Let's run to the baler. Have you seen what I'm using to run my baler, or will be using? Because I've only got a round baler at the moment. Have I seen the new Fiat? Yes. I think it's fantastic that FSI team have the time to work on so many mods and also get their DLC out right onto... Oh. Sounds so good. You know, found me recently, thanks to VF, who mentioned my Sandy Bay challenge. Yeah, he based his realism experiment on Sandy Bay, but I kind of found that was more based on my Cold Brew realistic series that I was doing when I saw what he was doing. So I don't know. I used to have an Irish YouTuber. If you want Irish YouTubers, Liam, check out Chris the Irish Gamer. He is growing extremely fast. He's gaining a lot of traction. Unfortunately, he's kind of a bit inconsistent because of various things going on IRL with him. But he is fantastic. He's a friend of mine as well. Very, very worth watching. Very good fun to watch. He doesn't have a clue what's going on 90% of the time. Yellow Glengar. I wouldn't really call that shots fired or a roast. I mean, just kind of put a little lampshade over them. Just put a little shade. Little bit of shade. In all seriousness, I'm not gonna criticize them. You know, they do what they want. I just question the logic there that, like, surely if they wanted to, and this is the way that I'm looking at it, if they want to make money, the DLC would surely be more viable as a financial thing than, you know, the 6 or 7 mods they've released since the DLC proposal went through. Now I know it's a team, and maybe they've only got one person working on their DLC, or maybe they got nobody working on it. I don't know, but surely it would make more sense. You're ploughing as well. Got a 75/30 premium and a Vario 820 in the field. Very nice. Be careful of that John Deere that it doesn't catch fire, though. Those things are fire hazards, I swear. So sick after last night. Hello, Brendan. Hello, George, as well. Did you have a good night last night, Brendan? Because it sounds it. One too many wine gums? So, oh dear, the fog's rolling and the rain's coming. We're not going to stop work just because of the rain. It's a 3 furrow, yes. And it's actually a small 3 furrow as well. We're not going to stop work because of this rain. I know that you shouldn't do field work in the rain, but blah. Got a 6 as well, new to us. Seems to be running nicely. Got a case coming a demo in a few weeks. I'll be interested in hearing how the case performs next to the Deers, because as far as I'm aware, they're pretty much identical. Rain will stop you with Tuesday at 5 p.m. Yeah. Yeah, Olivia. The lighthouse is a bit strange. It's a bit creepy, isn't it? I just snapped at IRL. Luckily, this isn't real life, and I can just do what I want. So it's all part of my privacy policy, guys. Don't worry, it's been updated. I do and say what I want. Well, obviously, there's some stuff that I don't talk about because people have asked me to keep it on the down low for a while. Looking to sell the fast track for a case and a 6R. I'd keep the like if you're doing a lot of karting, I'd keep the fast track, personally. I know you can get more field work done with a case and 6R, but the fast track would surely be the better option if you've got definitely long drives. So we got another maybe 2 headlands to do here, and then we're done with this field ploughing. 240 with cab is good. 135 no cab is good. Yeah. I always feel like the 135 just shouldn't have a cab. I know that like it's an optional thing in real life, but just in my head a 135 never has a cab and never did. They didn't originally. They didn't. No, it was an option, and in the US version, it was a dealership extra. 90% of the cabs in Europe were aftermarket, and in the US there were dealership extras that had cabs, basically to shield from the heat. They don't pull greatly uphill. Yeah, that would be an issue. There we go, we've got wet crop warning. It is officially raining. So what that symbol means is wet crop warning. So if I were to mow grass right now, I could not ted it. It would not be possible. If I were harvesting crops right now, the yield would be down. Although obviously the game would prevent me from harvesting in the rain anyway. The yield would be down. In theory, this planning should go a bit quicker, because the... well, it might be a bit slower. It really depends on what kind of terrain it, or what kind of soil it is. Have I got reindeer gear on? Believe it or not, the jeans and shirt combo, or the dungarees and shirt combo I'm wearing, and the hat, they're all 100% waterproof. True fact. They're actually all umbrellas, secretly. They just got invisible umbrellas on them. You want to go green and red, you got a lot of employees, you got to keep fleet up to date with your other equipment. Yeah. It's slippery, I guess. Just a bit. One thing Farm Sim is missing, if I just... Yeah, Farm Sim's kind of missing a rain noise. I know it's a tiny little detail, I know it's minuscule in the grand scheme of things Farm Sim could add. But I think in FS19, maybe it would be worth it, where they got noises for like plowed dirt and cultivated dirt. Now, I don't know if they'd be any different, but dirt, grass, concrete, asphalt, and gravel and sand and whatever. It would just add that bit more to the game. Just subscribe. Well, thank you very much, DW. I might just be a lunatic by saying that, though. I don't know. Fields become harder to work in the rain. Well, I'm going to keep going, because this little 135 seems to have the power to do it. Plus, I don't really have a choice. There is a big time limitation. I want to get all the fields. Why do I have 5 times time acceleration on? Nobody told me that. Oh my god, it's now 1:30 in the game. Nobody told me I had time acceleration on. That screwed me royally. Should finish early today, do overtime tomorrow. Nope, rules say I finish at 5 regardless. So, I'm not finishing one day early and starting the next day early. Do we have to make our seasons? Nope. That would be... oh, I can't remember all the names. Rackin', Real Logger... There's a few that are... I've forgotten the rest of them. Rackin' and Real Logger. Real Logger is the guy behind the weather system. Rackin's the guy behind most of the coding. And has since been taken on by giants. What happens if I'm done with all my fieldwork before 5? Then I can just zip through till next morning. And kind of keep an eye on the animals, because animal work can be done at any time. How do I know all these guys? Was I coder at some stage? No, I just... I was, believe it or not, the first YouTuber to actually pick up seasons. And do it in videos. So, I got contacted by Rackin, the seasons guys, and told, yes, I can use it in videos. And second off, to join the Slack and help with development. As just kind of as a tester and whatnot, and then Landy and Sim and VF all joined me in that, because I told them, hey, we can all use seasons, just join the Slack, here we go, we're all good. And we kind of gave our thoughts and opinions and stuff on seasons. Is that Massey and 4-wheel? Yes, why is this Massey and 4-wheel drive? I can't turn 4-wheel drive off. No, I want traffic on, I want radio off. Where's radio? There. I can't actually turn 4-wheel drive off. I'm guessing Seasons has forced it on because it's raining. You're a developer and a diehard farming fan. It's... Liam, honestly... Can do that? Yeah, I guess so. When it comes to like getting involved with modding and stuff, it's blind luck. I'm not gonna say, oh, you've got to know this, and this. It's blind luck when modders find you or you find modders and you get talking. Like, BulletBill and Oxygen David hang out here occasionally because I'm friends with Landy Kid, who's friends with them, and BulletBill's kind of become friends with the entire group, as is Oxygen David, and we all kind of chat amongst ourselves, off camera and away from everything. But it's all luck at the end of the day. It's all kind of who you know and what you do and blind luck. There's no magic to it all. Do I like Ritz crackers? I don't mind crackers at all, actually. I haven't had crackers in years. I'm more a fan of rich tea biscuits. Like, if I had a biscuit choice, if I had like a giant platter of biscuits in front of me, I'd choose like either rich teas or Garibaldi's. Ooh, Garibaldi's. Would I choose rich tea over Garibaldi? I'd probably pick a Garibaldi before a rich tea. But rich tea are better snacks. Like, Garibaldi goes well with a cup of tea, but rich tea, if you're just like looking for a snack and you want to have a biscuit, yeah, that's when you grab the rich teas. Hobnobs are good, but they're no Garibaldis. Like, hobnobs are good. They're not Garibaldis though. could eat a whole pack in 5 minutes flat. So could I. What I do with rich teas, because I figured this out as a smart thing, is if you nibble on them really, really kind of slowly and you get them into kind of a... This is a bit disgusting, but if you get them into kind of a paste in your mouth, they actually feel like you've eaten more than you have, so they're like a really good diet biscuit. Like if you want to feel like you've eaten but not actually eat much, just like nibble a rich tea for a while. Digestives are boring. They're only really good for cheesecake bases. Yes, diet biscuits. This is the level of ridiculousness I've managed to get to now, where I'm talking about biscuits as diet food. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tab out real quick, and oh no, is everything broken? Is there mega lag, or is that just on my end? Because according to YouTube, my stream has stopped, and it's buffering like crap. Is the mega buffer just on my end? Stream's good for you, so it's just on my end? Is my upload speed or download speed just collapsed? It's on my end. Okay, just hang on while I fix this. It's still... Why is it still buffering? There we go. That was weird. That was a really long buffering period. Animal prices mod off. What does the animal prices mod do? Because if it makes the animals more expensive, then by all means have it on. If it's something that makes the animals basically free, then why on earth are you using it? Plus with seasons, the animal price mod is... There is an animal price mod in seasons. Lowers animal price. Yeah, no. Bourbons are nice. Bourbon biscuits, or bourbon, as some people insist on calling them. They're bourbon biscuits. Best time to buy is winter. I can't remember what the best time to buy is. I haven't played in seasons for so long. I'm sure this... Well, VF might know. But I can't remember when the best time to buy animals is. It might... Winter, I think, is the best time to sell. But I can't remember about actually buying. Let's just go up the field this way. Now, I know that it's technically the wrong way to do this, but it's a bit faster. Depends on the animal. It could well depend on the animal. I know that, assuming seasons haven't changed this, which they might have, is it cows and sheep and pigs all breed in the springtime? Because I distinctly remember at one point changing cows to breed in the winter, because that's when they actually do, is the end of winter. Hello, Adam. Or was it they do it in winter and I changed it to spring? Cows in summer? I'm guessing that's for best price, not for breeding. Okay, I'm gonna have to remod seasons to get the cows to breed at a logical time. Cause yeah, that's unrealistic. What's the challenge? Exclamation mark insanity in chat, Johnny boy. It is the most ridiculous and difficult set of rules I could come up with, and of course, because I came up with extra difficult rules, I'm playing with the smallest equipment possible. Just to, you know, because the rules weren't difficult enough as it is. I can't swap out any of this equipment until I've made 300,000 euro and paid off the loan. I can sell animals. I can sell crops. I can sell bales once I've got 50 of whatever type of bale I want to sell. So, say I want to sell a straw bale, I have to have 50 straw bales already in storage. Same with hay, same with silage. You have to have 50 of that type of bale in storage before you can sell a single one. And the reason for that, I don't know if I actually elaborated on that in the little video I did to go alongside the series to introduce it. The reason for that is basically it's very easy to just keep like enough bales to keep your animals alive for the winter and sell the rest. And I feel like that's not within the spirit of the challenge, so I made the rule that way. To force you to have enough. You never need 50 bales of silage for 10 cows. Exactly. But during, like, the point is you have definitely got enough bales to see you through the winter regardless of how many animals you have. 50 bales of silage should be about enough for 25 cows during the winter. In fact, maybe a bit less. Maybe that'll be enough for 10 cows during the winter. I don't know. Can you have more than 10 cows? Yeah. Like, it's a minimum. It's a minimum. You can have as many or as few animals as you want. But the minimum number you need is 10. Hello, David Saville. So you can, if you really want to, and if you're a bit insane, start off with 50 cows. But you gotta feed them with the 10 bags of cow food. Yeah, you gotta deal with the problems there. That having more cows would have at the very beginning of the game. And again, in winter, you're gonna have to deal with having to feed the cows a lot more at the beginning. And maybe having more bales than you can make at the beginning. Do I even have a tractor powerful enough to power a feeder? Well, the feeder I'm using is the Goile animal feeder, which is this, and requires 85... Oh, I might not have enough power. I may need to mod... Privacy policy, what's that all about? Have you not got the 50 million emails, Glengar? I've updated my privacy policy, as has everybody else. I'll get it to work, Massey, don't worry. It is heavy. It just adds to the fun. To be fair, Blaj, what I might do is make TMR and load it into an actual normal trailer and bring it down to the cows. Like, I don't think that's outside the rules. I know that I made the rules, but I feel like loading TMR into a trailer isn't outside the rules if you've got a feed mixer that you can just about power, and if the tractor literally can't like drive around with it. The 844 should just about power the feed mixer. I know it technically requires 5 more horsepower than the tractor has, but it should work. In fact, I tested it. It does work. I tested it on the back of either the 135 or the 240, and it powered up, so that's not a concern. I'll be fine. So we've got about 3 hours of working time left in this in-game day. Courtesy me having 5 times time acceleration on for almost the entire stream and nobody telling me. And we've just about finished the first field being ploughed. So that's done. Might make them do a wheelie. Yes, but it should be fine. Because if I'm unloading onto the ground and using the load all to load up the trailer, it'll be fine. I'll just make the TMR. I'll be shuttling it over and back. Can't really see the time scale. Ah, yeah, that's why nobody noticed. So let's just stop up the 135 there. I'm going to leave it uncovered for now because that's going to be going over to the field in a minute. What trailers and tools do I want in FS90? Do I want a realistic mixer mod? I need to put that in actually. Good call, Blash. I need to, if I don't have it in, I need to turn it on. Miguel Fusion. I'd like to see more silage equipment, more wrappers and baler wrappers and stuff like that. I'd like to see something that maybe you can make baled corn silage, like the oh, what's it called? The thing that FSI made in the mod contest that was just way too many polys. The LT Master. I'd like to see something like that, but I guess on a more realistic side, a few more harvesters would be nice. Another couple of tractors. Double chop since side harvester, you haven't had one since FS15. Even then, the ones in FS15 were a bit questionable in terms of quality. But yeah, I'd like to see trailed foragers make a bit of a return. So let's actually. Whoa! We can get this into field 15. Is it 15? Yes, field 15. And starting location current. Headlands. Let's go for 12 headlands after the fact. Bypass islands will have to be on circle bypass. 1, 2, and let's get the course generated. And make a folder, field 15. Plowing maybe, question mark? Yeah, 1.4. This should have solved the little issue with the little dots. Start from first waypoint, please. Drive course. We should solve the issue of the little dots of missed ground from field 14. And I'm modding or something. That was FS13. That was in. Why don't I use manual attach? Because I find manual attach is horrifically broken at times, and I just don't like it. Is the blunt and honest answer. It's not a mod I get on with. Let's just fertilize field 14 here, and then we can get cultivating. Like to see Crone grasswork couldn't come back. Yeah, like I feel like Crone's kind of a bit underrepresented now. Dagman shout out BulletBills, IRL Cobra. I think anybody who's got any vague passing interest in Farm Sim will shout out BulletBills in real life Cobra. Except it's not BulletBills, it's BulletBills' nephews in real life Cobra. It's not going to be on BulletBills' channel. If you watch the trailer, there's a channel linked at the end, in the end card, and also in the description. That's the channel that's going to be uploading it. Subscribe to that channel. Is it Thomas Haskins, I want to say, Productions? I'm probably wrong. Subscribe to that channel. It's not going to be on BulletBill's channel. I subscribed last night after Bill told me that, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. Hello, Seam. Chrome Forge Wagon, Rake, Tether, Baler. Dude, Chrome don't make balers, dude. Chrome do make balers, Dave. Chrome make balers because they make the big pack. Chrome mowers would be nice. Yeah, I think I would like to see sheep health 10%. That's not good. I would like to see a Big M 450 or 420 or a 400 series Big M in the game. Slightly worried about the sheep. There's no way I can feed the sheep. I said in the last stream, I'm going to say it again, if the sheep start dying before I can get grass, because I haven't cheated in bales, you can if you want to. But if you've got issues with sheep dying, or animals dying because, well, sheep mainly, because they don't have the right food, you can actually cheat more money in to keep the sheep numbers up to 10 until you can buy make some grass. Listening to me set up course by my eyes closed made me think we were making a racetrack. I mean, maybe. Speaking of racetracks, on a nice little segue, I was doing some iRacing last night, as I tend to do. And did a 10-lap race at Laguna Seca against real people. iRacing is racing against real people. I qualified in first position. 10 laps later, I finished in second position, less than a second behind the winner. I had a quick chat with him after the race. Brazilian guy, really nice guy. He praised me on the pressure I put on him. I said, do you know what, you deserve that win. I couldn't find a way past. I probably could have if I was more aggressive at the corkscrew, but that was a really low percentage that would have been a really low percentage attempt, and I'd prefer to have both cars come home safe than one of them punted off into the grass somehow. Because that's where I kept getting my runs, was going up to the corkscrew, and that was really annoying because there's no way to overtake there. Animal grazing would be a good idea. For FS 19, I might actually see how that mod works, and maybe install it. In fact, I probably will install it onto this map or myself. I don't know how it's done. I'll do a bit of research, because I feel like it'd be a fitting addition to the map. Because at number one we get the cows sorted for grass and the pigs sorted for grass during the summertime, when it makes sense that they wouldn't need grass given to them. And it would mean that I'd be able to focus a bit more on just getting the grassland stuff sorted and the crop stuff sorted. Over getting, you know, animals kind of dealt with. Hello from virtual Japan. Nani? See, I know some Japanese. That meant what? The nani? Nani? Kansai drifto. What's the challenge about? Making the game as insanely difficult as possible, Kian. That's why it's called the Insanity Challenge. I am stuck with the equipment that I have, tractors and all, until I've paid off the €300,000 loan that I've got on this map. Once I pay off the loan, everything's unlocked. Now, there's no mod causing this, it's just kind of an honor system. But once I pay off the loan, everything suddenly unlocks. I can use the BJA once I get another 240,000 to activate it. I can buy new equipment, sell equipment, replace equipment, buy new fields, I guess potentially sell fields. Can I give challengers? They're in the description. But if you're too lazy for the description, type !insanity into the chat. Knifebot will give you a lovely little link to it. Is this the Mr. Bean Snickers advert? No, it's actually initial D, which I need to watch at some point. I'm hoping that Nightbot's working, by the way. It is. Sometimes Nightbot gets into a mood and decides he doesn't want to work, and that annoys me. So, we got the first bag of fertilizer gone. Used. 2,000 litres used up, gone. It's called the Insanity Challenge because the rules are just plain insanity. I don't know how playable this challenge actually is. Like, in the first 2 days we've spent 5,000 of our 15,000 euro that we started with. And once we pass through winter once we get into the autumn time, into winter, then another rule activates, which means if I run negative and don't have the crops to sell off to make the money back, that's game over. That's the challenge ended. I lose. You had chocolate ice cream for dinner. Very nice. Your legs just went on airplane seats for you right there, Dar. Virtual seats in airplanes are the worst. You want roofs to be waterproof in FS19? The thing is, that would require a lot of coding to do. Like, making the rain stop at roofs and stuff would require a lot of coding and would actually impact on optimization. The way Giants have the game running now, it's, yes, a bit silly with some things, but it's the most optimized way they can do things. The most optimized way they can do the terrain is to actually just have it not be dynamic and have it be static, and to just draw textures on top. The most optimized way for them to do rain is for it to just be this kind of visual effect that, yes, it does affect physics slightly, but I mean, if you look straight up at... Oh my god, you can see the top of the skybox. I think Reshade might be wonking out the skybox slightly because you can see the polys. That's amazing. Another thing I need to do after the stream, other than reboot my computer to get Logitech Profiler working again apparently, is I need to actually rescue my head tracking webcam from behind my my monitor because it fell down when I was fixing my lamp, which is loosening off again, might I add. I need to super glue the damn thing or use epoxy or something. Yeah, Nightbot's a robot. Nightbot just says what I've already told it to say. If you are enjoying the stream, know that I am now beginning to roast because the weather's apparently warmed up and the breeze has died down and my PC is belching heat again. But hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have subscribed, hit the notification bell, and if you've done all of that and you're feeling particularly fat and sassy and rich, you can hit the little sponsor button and get a really nice green colour on YouTube, a really nice red colour on the Discord, where you'll have a special role. I think we got a Nightbot command here. Yes, I do. It's the first time I've got to use the Nightbot command on my stream deck. I've had it there for ages. Computer's gone very slow in the last few weeks. Check if there's something wonking it out, Timmy. Check how full your hard drives are. Then hit Control-Alt-Delete, see what's using up all your memory, because that's why your computer goes slow. You've probably got something installed that's using all your memory. Who invented Nightbot? I have no idea. NightDev, I think they're called, is a group that runs Nightbot. Definitely somebody from Twitch. Like the Twitch side of streaming things, because it was originally a Twitch bot and got kind of ported into YouTube once the API got released. And still not able to do everything it can on Twitch, which is a bit annoying. I hope YouTube improved the API a bit so that I can get Nightbot to autoplay ads, which would be kind of nice. Not on like a 2-minute timer, don't worry, it would be like every 20 minutes or so. It would just autoplay like one ad. By the way, the Nightbot chat command is still a thing, mods. Just so you're aware. I haven't got rid of that. I cleaned up some old commands that were no longer needed. But the Nightbot chat command is still a thing. What's with the spots? Basically the plow was set a bit wider than it actually is, so it missed little patches. So what I've done for field 15 over there, which you can't see because of the fog and the rain, is I have set it slightly thinner, set it 20 centimeters thinner, so hopefully that won't happen again. And I'll just need to clean up the corners a bit. And that I'll put down to Courseplay just being a bit weird with equipment sizes sometimes, especially with like offset equipment. It goes a bit angry. And it might also have been down to me setting an offset or something, I don't know, but I've made Courseplay 30 or 20 centimeters thinner, 0.2 of a meter thinner, so in theory it shouldn't wonk up on field 15. We'll go check that once we've got this field fertilized, and we'll start cultivating. And actually I'm gonna grab the little hasha seed drill and start basically follow the cultivator with the seeder. Any advice about setting up a YouTube channel? You only play farm sim. Number one, don't set up a YouTube channel. YouTube's a dying platform. Go on Twitch instead if you're able to stream. If you're only able to do videos, then yeah, unfortunately you're stuck with YouTube. Farm sim only. Be prepared to hate the game. I mean that in the nicest way. Be prepared to hate farm sim, because no matter how much you enjoy it right now, you're gonna hate it when you start making videos. Twitch allows videos now, doesn't it? Yes, it does, but people go to Twitch to watch streams and not videos. That's the simple fact of things. Should I go to Twitch? It's up to you. I would advise strongly that people use Twitch instead of YouTube if they want to start up. Twitch, I feel, has more of a future in it. YouTube, I find like streaming to YouTube nicer because it's a bit easier to set up, and I kind of prefer the way the entire dashboard's laid out on YouTube. It's a bit more user-friendly. But on Twitch I prefer the chat and the video quality of the streams. Hello, Martin's Photographs. So there's kind of positives and negatives of using both. And on Twitch, you know, you're kind of expected to do longer streams, kind of going over 3, 4, 5 hours. On YouTube, kind of 2 hours is a long stream. So this is kind of a better format for me right now with the amount of time that I have. Perhaps you should scrap it and go fresh on Twitch. It's 100% up to you, Massey. Like, my advice is just that, advice. You don't necessarily have to listen. You don't necessarily have to follow it. It's just my thoughts, looking from the inside out, I guess, is YouTube, right now at least, especially with the way they treat the creators, is not a very good platform to be getting started with. Have I solved the spot? I've solved the spot problem. Although there may be a second problem that I can't solve as well, which is the things having collisions problem. You're not doing it for money, just for fun. Oh, then you're fine on YouTube. Does it cost a lot to set up for a YouTube channel in terms of equipment? It costs however much you've got to spend. Like recording software, free, OBS. And that you can set up to do audio as well. It's hit the damn pole. Editing software, you can get stuff for free. You can definitely get stuff for free. Microphones. A microphone costs however much you got to spend on a microphone. You can spend as little or as much as you want. It's with cheaper microphones, it's blind luck if they work as well as you'd like them to. With more expensive ones, you've got a higher expectation. Kind of the standard microphone for pretty much everybody on YouTube is a Blue Yeti or something as a minimum, but a Blue Yeti. By the way, I say OBS is free because I use OBS to record. Tell your mic was cheap. Yeah, and not very well dialed in. You can dial in a cheap mic to sound good. But you need to spend hours in a free audio recording software, which, by the way, Audacity is, and it's probably the best. It's what a lot of sound guys use, is Audacity instead of super expensive professional grade stuff. They'll just use Audacity because it's free, and it honestly has better features than 90% of them because it's open source. Yeah, that's the problem with Twitch, is there's no resolution options unless you're partnered or just lucky. Just turn it on the stream, just hit something like, you can get it sounding better. It's like dependent on how far you have the mic away from your mouth, how loud you set the volumes everywhere, how you speak even can influence how the mic sounds. Because I mean, if I kind of speak quite quietly, my mic doesn't sound quite as good because my voice is cracking constantly, and it might sound like the mic's causing it, and the mic will, as a result, be quite quiet. You might struggle to hear me. But if I speak normally, and well, I say normally, if I speak loud like this and project my voice a bit, you can hear everything perfectly and sounds good. How far do I have my mic from a keyboard? About a foot. If I move my mic over here, you might not hear the keyboard as much, but my voice will be a bit louder. Notice that, yeah, it's all about volumes and balancing with a mic. So we'll have to do this at least twice. To get the Massey unstuck from the poles. Maybe 4 times. But that's good there. The 240 will be running a cultivator in a second. Hello, Baron Lodge. 240 will be running a cultivator in a second, and I want to get the 844. Do I want to get the 844 on the cultivator? No, we'll get the 844 on the seeder, even though it'll look ridiculous. Did I enjoy it? It was good to chill out. I had nothing better to do, so I mean, better that than nothing. I was gonna watch something on YouTube anyway. I figured, seeing as you had your link in Discord, and I was kind of curious as to what it was, I'd hang out for a bit. Sack the driver, you'll drive for free. Now, by the way, I didn't put this in the rules, and I probably should have. You have to pay your horseplay guys. You can't have them working for free. So this will need to be on a fieldwork course on field 14. 3 meters seems a bit saucy for this. Because it is. .3 seems also a bit saucy, but in the other direction. .2 meters sounds good. Start there. Headlands, we'll do 9 after the fact. Circle bypass. Generate the course and save this as cultivatro. Into field 14, plowing maybe into field 15. And where's the first waypoint? I will allow, by the way, I will allow people to use these courseplay overlays because it's a bit easier to see everything. Hello, NI. Yeah, Nightbot shouted at me. That was kind of funny. So it happens you got the spam filters activated. That's why I've got them deactivated, so you guys can shout at me. And do meme things if you really want to. Yes, Bork Bork, the dog is barking. It's not even my dog, damn neighbours. So that's this field being cultivated. Off back to the yard now to grab the 844. Turn it off now. Yeah, I was wondering if you'd need a hand or a tutorial on how to get that turned off, because it's a pain in the backside. Hello, farming man. Guys, let me know when Landy's live, and mods, could you grab the link to today's video? How you doing, Anna? Didn't see your second message. I'm doing good. I don't think I saw it. If I did see it and replied, I'll ignore the fact that I replied twice. Because I have a terrible memory. So we'll need to get the bag off the load all first off. You know I was going through to yes. Twice. Because you didn't realize what crop meant you couldn't TED. And that the... I don't know if it affects grass yield. Genuinely don't, but yield on crops for sure is lower. And I know 100% you can't TED grass with wet crop active. Let's get this raised up into position. That should be high enough for the Hasha. Turn off the load all. English GCSE tomorrow. Good luck with that, dude. Forgot where I put the 844. You windrowed it for hay without telling it. GG. Landy's done that before, and I just ran under the assumption he was trying to make silage bales. He went as far as baling it, didn't he? Landy's live in 5. Does this have the new thing where it opens? Oh, it doesn't open up. This is the old seed drill from FS. It goes back as far as FS11, and it's the smallest seed drill I could find, so I figured, why not? Uh-oh. Come on. You can do that. You can do this, International 844. What do I think about the new 18090 on the mod hub? I think FSI could have spent their time more wisely than making mods if they had a... there wasn't a vid put up today. Oh, there wasn't a video put up today because I was watching Co-optional last night, was it? Wasn't I? Could you link yesterday's video? Because that didn't go live. Or that didn't do well. I know you have to scroll a bit through the... I think it was 5 VODs I put out today. Because I had been awful and forgotten to put VODs live. This can this do corn, just out of curiosity? It cannot, dabby doozy. So let's eat some barley. Old pasture cedar, yes, this is the old boy. This is a proper old boy. Which for some reason can be powered now, even though it's actually powered by the wheels. And we're gonna have to do this manually. The reason that I'm cultivating is, number one, so the field looks better as I seed it. And number two, because I need to make some time for the Massey to actually get some work done. Now, because of the worker limitation rule, I'm going to actually be a bit careful here and just start here. Because of the worker limitations, I can't get Courseplay to do this. I have to seed manually. Seeding in the rain, is that allowed? Any field work is fine any time. As long as the game doesn't stop you from doing it, it's above board. Game's not stopping me from seeding in the rain. As far as I'm concerned, it's perfectly fine. Want to shout out? Yeah, please. NI. See you, farming man. I always like getting a bit of time to know when land is live, so that I got like 5 minutes-ish to play with. Just to say farewell for the evening. And kind of get to the point where I'm happy finishing the stream. Now, I will be happy finishing the stream pretty much any point now, because we can kind of have a multitask stream on Friday with seeding, cultivating, and plowing all going on at the same time. So, you know, we've got the maximum work being done right now that we can get done. So I'm allowing myself 2 courseplay workers. It'd be a lot more difficult to get this challenge done if I didn't allow courseplay at all. Which in theory I shouldn't have, but for basically for YouTube reasons, yeah. You can ask them via PM whether or not a reply is entirely up to me. I'll be very blunt about that. Like, it's up to whether or not I even feel like replying to any given question. Because most questions most people have about streaming, a quick Google search will give you the answers you need. Land is live, land is live, land is live, land is live. Well, on that note, I will leave you by saying, I've been RainbowDave, you've been watching the Insanity Challenge in Farming Simulator 17. Hope you enjoyed today's stream. If you did, hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be back tomorrow with more Sandy Bay Challenge. Until next time, yes, I am taking a screenshot for tomorrow's stream. Get into the shop, please. Until next time, stay safe. And goodbye. Update, the Massey actually went into shot. I've got a thumbnail ready. Good.